Welcome back, TCS viewers. It's Chris Niccolls here again from the camera store, and as you can see, we're coming to you from beautiful Banff. There's snow everywhere, which makes this the first of many freezing cold videos for a long time. But we're going to look at the Pentax K3 today. You know, amongst the flurry of full-frame cameras on the market, Pentax is going ahead with a very exciting, very advanced crop sensor camera. We're going to take a look at this, see how it stacks up to its closest competition, and see if we really do need full frame. Maybe a camera like this is the way to go. Now, when it comes to the Pentax K3's handling, it is incredible. I mean, it feels basically like a K5, but with some nice changes. Now, I'm not a Pentax fanboy, you know that, and I'm not getting paid by them or anything, but no matter what you think about Pentax, you have to give them this. They can design and build an amazing feeling camera. These things are rugged and solid. I love the grip. The dials fall right into place where they should be. Everything is ruggedized. The seals look like they'll actually stop torrential rain, and they do. We have abused Pentax DSLRs in the past, and they just take these beatings no problem. This also seems to be the year of amazing mode dial innovation. Pentax has done something very cool here. Now, when we looked at the Olympus EM1, you could push in and click the mode dial lock. That was smart, but I like this even more. I've got a lockable mode dial and I can push the button to turn it, but if I don't like that, I flick a switch here on the bottom and now the mode dial is free turning. So basically, whatever you prefer, you're gonna get it. I love the new chunky autofocus manual focus selector switch, nice and big, and with this AF mode button in the dials, you can quickly change your settings. It's very, very intuitive, works fantastic. Big, beautiful 3.2-inch screen, over 1 million dots, and they've gone with their largest viewfinder yet. 0.95 magnification, 100% coverage. The camera just works and feels fantastic. I can't say it enough. Here's another thing I gotta say I love about this camera. The new shutter has been completely redesigned. This thing, first off, is super quiet. I mean, listen to this. Very, very well dampened. But the other thing is, when I shoot, I don't feel anything. This mirror doesn't slap. It feels like you're on permanent mirror lockup. You know, you look at other cameras like D7100s and stuff, their shutters aren't bad, but you get a bit of feel, you get a bit of slap. This thing is just solid and smooth and quiet. They should make them all like this. So I've got the brand new 40mm limited HD lens here. You know, Pentax is updating their new lineup. These HD lenses have a new nanocrystal coating, supposed to give better contrast. Now they're also advertising more circular aperture blade system, up to about 5.6 from wide open. So I'm shooting this tree here. I've got some specular highlights in the background. As we take a look at these photos, I will say this, the HD lens does seem to have better contrast than the older style 40mm that you can see here. When it comes to the rounded aperture blades, I would say marginally rounder, but they still do have some shape. And honestly, the older 40mm was pretty round as it goes. So you're still not going to get any sort of smooth, stepless aperture control in video. It's still going to jump between the apertures. You know, overall, an improvement, not a huge one, but definitely better contrast. You know, pretty impressive. A little bit of underexposure required here because we've got predominantly dark rocks, but the camera shot this scene. We've got sunlight, dark shadows, all fits in the histogram, barely. Pretty impressive. Now, I've just shot the deer here, and you know, we're using the new K3's SatFox 11 autofocusing system. Pentax's fastest system so far. You've got 27 points, 25 of which are cross type. And I find with work like this, you know, it's doing a good job. It's quite smooth. It grabbed on and followed very, very nicely. Speed-wise, Pentax is going to advertise this as their fastest. Now, in a bit, I do want to try some spot-to-spot distance focusing just to give that a try, but it certainly worked well here. You also have a very good standard array. You can choose selectable points. It will track across those points on the moving subject, seems to remember what you've locked onto, and you've got dynamic ranges from 9 points to 27 points. Overall, it's Pentax's best system for sports and action. It's good for work like this, and you also get a substantial kick up to 8.3 frames per second, so this will be the one you want if you're going to tackle the quick action. Check this out. Not bad, you know, 3 seconds, pushing around 24 shots in RAW, 60 JPEGs. It's a big improvement for Pentax on their SLRs. All right, it's time for a high ISO ramp up here on the Pentax K3. We're shooting some photos here of the fuel that drives TCS videos. And as you can see, as we go up here in the ISOs, we start to hit 1600 and 3200, the K3 still holds together beautifully. I do not know what they did. It's the new processor or something, but looking at the files here, easily one of the best performances at high ISO out of a crop sensor. You know, is it going to compare with full frame? I don't know, but it looks very, very close. We're getting incredibly good results. Even as we push up to the maximum of 51,200, the camera still holds together quite well. Very impressive for a crop sensor camera. All right, folks, so I'm doing my spot-to-spot checks here. Close, far, close, far. And you know, these are my observations so far. I do find it definitely the best that Pentax has to offer, but it still doesn't necessarily compete with other brands out there. That is a weakness of this camera. I do find that sometimes it's going to go and it needs a little bit of time to hesitate and then lock in tight. And then sometimes it will lose track and hunt a little bit and then catch on again. Seems pretty random. When it works quick. But I still think cameras like the D7100, 5D Mark III, D800 are going to blow this away in that regard. Now, when it comes to Pentax on the video side of things, well, they're a little bit of a weird company and they're not always on the forefront. Now, just so you guys know at home, we're actually shooting this on the K3 right now with the built-in audio going through its preamp right in camera. Now, it's kind of funny because lower-end cameras like the K30 and the K50 actually had better video packages than the highest-end cameras like the K5 and K5 II. Another really weird thing about the K5 system, you only got 1 frame per second rate, and it was a weird one. Now, you know, I mean, if you're from the UK, 25 frames per second, it's perfect, it's PAL compatible. But honestly, if you're from North America, it's bloody useless. Now here on the K3, we've got all the frame rates we need. 30 frame per second, 24 frame per second, and 25 frame per second at full 1080. You also get 60i interlaced, and if you do want 60p, you'll get that as well, albeit at 720 lines of resolution. Still, it's a world camera for video anywhere. And some other really nice features: headphone jack, mic input, full audio control for both of those right through the back of the camera with the function button. You're also going to get a selector switch now for movies and a record start-stop button. All in all, the K3 is a complete video package, but we need to know what the quality's like. Let's take a look at that next. Now, looking at the video, Jordan and I do like the codec. It's very acceptable in this price range. Standard H.264 compression, the camera handles beautifully, you've got great video controls. You know, the only complaint that we have here, the anti-shake, although great for stills, gives you a lot of wobbling if you handhold this camera in video. It's really gonna shine if you get it on tripods and sliders. Still, when you couple it with excellent handling, the Pentax K3 is a fantastic video device. Now, by far one of the most exciting developments on the Pentax K3 is a brand new sensor, finally. We got 24 megapixels without an anti-aliasing filter, and that should give us incredible sharpness. Now, what we've done here is we put 50mm lenses on both, because we're going to compare this against the Nikon D7100, which has a very similar sensor and setup. Looking at the shots here, folks, honestly, I mean, rendering of diagonal lines is very similar. Looking at zoomed in sharpness, basically the same. Both cameras are very comparable. If I had to give an edge visually, I guess I would give it to the Pentax, but it's very minor, and that could be a differentiation in lenses. Either way, very, very comparable results. Now, of course, one of the main worries that people have when you get rid of the AA filter is increased aliasing and moire in your photographs. Now, up until this point, most companies haven't worried about it. They just let it happen. And you know, honestly, when we shoot cameras like the D7100, the D800, or the K3 all day, we really have a hard time getting moire to even show up. It really doesn't seem to be an issue. But still, Pentax has decided to give you a very interesting option, and in an ingenious way. Their sensor stabilizer, their anti-shake system, can actually shift in a very microscopic manner just to give you a slight level of blur. And what this will do is replicate having an AA filter. It's very cool too. You get 2 levels of intensity so you can adapt it for the situation. If you feel you're going to get moire, you can take care of it. Now, I still don't think I would use it. It does soften your image noticeably, of course. And where you'd really want to have it during video, well, it doesn't work there. But still, it's a nice option to have, and Pentax is the one that's giving it to you. Now, just to give you an example, we did a shot again of Jordan's jeans, our classic moire test, and you can see it here with and without the AA filter replication in place. We did level 1 intensity, and what you can certainly see is the softness that's involved with that shaking. But do we really have a problem? Honestly, looking at it, I don't think so. You know, it's funny, but every time I review a Pentax SLR, I kind of want to go down to the store and buy one for myself. They've just designed cameras so well. You've got great features. On paper, the K3 has basically more and better than most other crop sensor cameras on the market. And it seems like Canon and Nikon are really pushing for full frame. Pentax here is making an incredibly high-end crop sensor camera. It's not just on paper too, because these cameras handle great and feel good. We would love nothing more than to see Pentax get back into the fight with great cameras like this. Hopefully this is going to be a winner for them. But that does bring up an interesting point too. I'm not so sure this time that this is a Pentax SLR, because all day I'm looking at the back of the camera and you can't miss it, Ricoh. Well, maybe this is what the market needs. Maybe Ricoh can inject some stuff back into this line and get these cameras kicking out there. Until next time, guys, we'll see you soon.